What can Call of Duty do to bring players back? If you're somebody who's still playing Call of Duty, I hope you're having a great time, and I do wish the best for you. If you're someone like me who has left COD because of myriad different reasons, why did you leave and when did you leave? There are a lot of different reasons why I left the game. But the real question is, how do we come back? What can Modern Warfare 4 do to bring players like me back? Now, I'm not going to pretend that I'm going to say that I'm speaking for every player who's left. Everybody who has left for their own reason. So maybe I should say, what can Call of Duty do to bring me back? And if you are someone who agrees with some of my points, then let me know in the comments down below. And if you disagree, let me know in the comments down below as well. So let's start off with some what I think are goals that can both be considered very realistic and goals that I think are unrealistic because they'll never happen, but they would be nice if they did. So let's start off by talking about the new heads of the studio. I think that regardless of how good the game is, having watched some of the documentaries that Infinity Ward has put out, I do feel like the two guys who are in charge of Infinity Ward now, I think that they are very personable. They seem like guys that you could absolutely just hang out with, grab a drink, play the game, and chill and have a good time. They seem like some pretty chill guys. Whether that translates into a good game or not, that's still up in the air. It does seem like they're trying to win back player sentiment. But having studio heads who have actually played the games and have been people who were a part of the creation and player base of a lot of the older games is a good step in the right direction, in my opinion. It's better than just having some financial guy running the entire studio who doesn't even like video games, who doesn't even like Call of Duty, who doesn't appreciate it or doesn't even want the series to succeed. It's better to have these guys in charge than somebody like that. Let me put it that way. So let's talk about the goals. The first one I think is very simple to say, but also maybe kind of difficult in practice because I think a lot of people want different things out of Call of Duty, but it's just to make a good game. Like, first and foremost, make a good game. I think just that alone will make people happy, is to have a COD that is just good and also feature complete at launch. Because I think one of the biggest problems that we have right now in gaming, one is that games are getting more expensive. We just saw the stuff with GTA 6 come out. It's incredibly expensive. And unfortunately, I think a lot more games are going to try and push that same price point because Grand Theft Auto is doing it. Whether they will succeed in that or not is another story, but it sucks to get a Call of Duty game like, in my opinion, Modern Warfare 2, where it came out, you have a campaign, you have 9 multiplayer maps. Some of them were not released because of legal issues. Like, you had that multiplayer and then some of the, the little spec op missions. Modern Warfare 2, in my opinion, for the price they charge, did not have enough content. It needs to have content that is rewarding, engaging, and worth the asking price that you're asking for the game. Like, that is the bare minimum that you can do to respect your player base. The next thing is to follow through on their promises. No goofy skins. Keep it Modern Warfare themed. They say this all the time, and they said this before. Oh, we want to keep to the theme of Black Ops. We want to keep to the theme of it. But then 2 seasons in and Beavis and Butthead are there. I think that there is a certain limit to that. Maybe it's okay to have one goofy skin every now and then if you're able to contain yourself and not go crazy with putting 50 more after that. But we've already seen that they can't do that. So I would just say, don't put any really crazy goofy skins in the game. Just keep it on brand, keep it on theme. The Nick Cage skin in COD right now, I don't think looks all that bad. I mean, in terms of its style, right? It's very kind of operator-esque, but it's also not this big, crazy, colorful, ridiculous thing. Stuff like that. Something else that I think is a really big issue with COD is keeping on top of broken weapons and metas. In my opinion, you cannot get away with having a meta that is broken for 7 months again, like what happened with Modern Warfare 2. In Warzone 2, what was it? The RPK meta was the meta for 7 months, 6 to 8 months, something ridiculous like that. And then they never even, they kind of fixed it, but not really at the same time. That is an issue that I think that if you have a live service game like Warzone and you are not constantly on top of balancing or rotating weapons in and out of the meta constantly, it makes for a boring game first and foremost, but secondly, if stuff is broken, then it never gets fixed. And that to me is a big problem. And they've always had an issue with staying on top of weapons and metas and broken things. The next thing I would like to see is a larger focus on unlockable items and content versus things that are just thrown into the store. For all of its faults, Modern Warfare 3 had a ton of post-launch content every season that you could just earn for free. Now, whether that was earned through a way that was interesting or not is a different story, because a lot of the times it was just get a certain amount of experience and you unlock this thing, right? Or whatever. It doesn't matter, just as long as there is stuff that I can earn for free versus oh, well, if you want this, you have to buy it in the store. Because in my opinion, going through and unlocking stuff that is maybe time consuming or difficult to unlock, like mastery camos and stuff like that, goes a long way in showing just how much progress you've actually made in the game. And it's a way of showing that progress off. And people like to do that. The next thing I'd like to see is a revamping of the menus. I am so tired of this streaming Hulu design where every one of these menus just barely even fits on the screen. You can fit 3 items on the screen before you have to scroll. Why are we so afraid of vertical menus instead of horizontal ones? What are we doing? It's so annoying. Please, can we revamp the menus? And also, can we please make it easier to get to the main menu so that way we're not going through 4 different screens of promotions and store related items and stuff like that. I just want to play the game. And then something that I would say that is never going to happen, but hey, if they did it, it would be something everybody would probably be praising, would be to remove the store entirely. I'm just throwing out some wishes, you know? But hey, since I know the store's not going anywhere, at the very least, can we make the items in the store cheaper? I don't have a problem with buying cosmetics. I honestly don't. And if you want to do that, go ahead and do it. But can we make them cheaper? Does every single bundle need to be $20+? No, I don't think so. If you guys offered like a $10 skin, I would almost bet you would sell more of those skins because they're cheaper than what you are now. The next thing is be open to good, honest feedback and willing to make changes. In the past, Infinity Ward has been very adamant in a lot of ways about digging their heels in when changes have been suggested, when the player base says, hey, this doesn't feel very good to play. And I think that's one of the biggest problems that they have in particular, and that's why Modern Warfare 2 at the time lost so many players. It didn't feel good to play. And so people left because Infinity Ward really kind of refused to make any changes whatsoever. The next thing is, I know that DMZ is coming, we know that Warzone is here, and we have the main game. And all that I really ask for that is that if you have 3 different game modes in your game, multiplayer, DMZ, Warzone, please, for the love of God, do not do what you all did with Modern Warfare 2 and make DMZ and Warzone play exactly the same. They need to be 3 different games with 3 different identities. You can have the backpacks and all that stuff in DMZ, but you don't need it and shouldn't have it in Warzone. So those things need to stay separate. The next thing I have here is really just the next thing I have here in my notes that just says, really, just don't be greedy shitheels. That one's gonna be more on the impossible side. Keep transparency the entire way through the game's life cycle. And please don't try to weasel your way around with deceptive language. This is something we even saw in the advertising with like BO7 in reference to skill-based matchmaking in the open playlists and stuff like that. They do love to weasel their words a little bit. We also saw this with their white paper on matchmaking and multiplayer matchmaking and skill-based matchmaking and stuff like that. There's a lot of corporate speak, if you will. Just be honest with us. All right, the last 2 items could also be the most important ones. The first one, skill-based matchmaking or engagement optimized matchmaking. Remove them. I mean, that's kind of it. Like, if you don't know what skill-based matchmaking is, it's effectively you are given a skill rating based on how you play the game and how good you are. And when you queue up for a multiplayer match, you are then put into games that are of supposedly similar skill levels, okay? And so that is the idea behind it. However, SBMM can easily be manipulated because you can just reverse boost to get easier lobbies and stuff like that, and people have been manipulating skill-based matchmaking for a very long time. Now, engagement optimized matchmaking, this one is the thing that I think is the bigger issue than SBMM because people don't really talk about this one as much. So engagement optimized matchmaking is specifically designed to keep you playing the game for longer. And what it does is it works in combination with SBMM to basically try and predetermine the outcome of the match for you. Essentially, the way it works is it goes, okay, well, this player has been winning way too many games. They're going to get bored if they keep winning and they're going to leave. And a player that leaves isn't interacting with the game, which means they're not interacting with the store. So we need to make sure that they lose the next few games, because if they lose, then they're going to want to try and win again. What they do is they use your skill to influence your engagement by saying, okay, we're going to give this player harder and harder games so that they lose, and then as they lose, we're going to give them easier and easier games so that they'll start to win. And that sort of up and down roller coaster of emotion is manipulating you into playing the game for longer. Because if you are constantly winning, you'll get bored of winning and leave. So now you have to lose. But if you're constantly losing, you'll feel defeated and leave. So then you'll start winning, and that cycle continues. And it's all to keep you playing for as long as possible and eventually engage with the store. It's all about money at the end of the day, folks. The EOMM is the terrible part. SBMM is not great. It's very manipulatable, but it's not as bad as EOMM in my opinion. So open matchmaking should be what we just have. It's a perfect solution. Anyway, the next thing, the anti-cheat. It is no secret that Call of Duty's anti-cheat, Ricochet, is an absolute laughingstock of an anti-cheat. Literally, as soon as they put out an update for it, it immediately gets hit with a workaround by the hackers. They've got it down to a science. So Ricochet is just one of those things where it's bad and it doesn't do a good enough job in my opinion. So that's something that needs to really be looked at. And if your game has a notoriety for being full of cheaters, people are going to disengage with it. Simple as that. So you got to make it better. You got to do something to make it better because it has been a laughing stock. So those are things that would get me to come back to COD if they fixed a lot of those things. And those are a lot of the pain points that I think I have personally with the game. And if I missed anything, put them in the comments down below. I'll see you guys down there and we can have a little discussion and keep this thing going. I've been Bubba TV 24 and I am signing out.